Okay. So many people playing the exact same ships. I have no idea if I'm fighting the same dudes in brawls or not. Santa Claus was my first random battle. Wasn't sure how to play it, so just used it to kite. I mean, that's generally a good idea if it's a new ship for you. Now, notice the secondary range, 9.2 kilometer. Also, you know, if you think of it as a bigger Hindenburg or something, right? Then, you know, let's see. The build isn't up anymore. I think I can re-render it. So, you know, you can play it like a kiting ship very easily, is what I'm getting at. So let's take a look and see. Something capped over at B. Okay. Something's in A. Gonna get C cap. Nope. You're not. Des Moines shows up. I don't know what you mean by not working, Steven. Like, are you getting an error or something? P4, yeah, I mean, you know, scroll zooming is a little bit slower. But if it's what you learned, it's very difficult to unlearn. It took me a long time to teach myself to not scroll zoom. Now, interestingly enough, I'm not seeing a lot of enemies at A. Usually you get a whole lot of activity there, but it looks like they went to Bravo and Charlie, huh? Alright, so Steven, what you should probably do for that is file a support ticket. Include the code that you got, describe what happened, you know, and because I've never heard of it not working before like that. And Beasley, thank you. Merry Christmas to you too. Hope you had a good one. Oh, it's also your birthday? You were born on Christmas? That's awesome. Or is it? Because that means you get... Did you get double presents then? See, I was born a week after Valentine's Day, so my parents got to take advantage of relatively cheap presents and stuff, you know. Sometimes, yeah. So I was going to mention, you're starting to get a little too close. I think it's mostly because of what your team's done, as you're looking at the Stalingrad and realizing not much. Okay, nice, No Goose. Congratulations. Austin, Delano. Okay. Just seeing if there's a battleship in B-Cap, because that could be problematic for you. Well, the constant changing around is gonna slow down your your rate of fire, sure, if that's what you're trying to get at. That's weird. It won't give me the player build. Yeah, you don't want a bow tank, exactly. Kiting away, like, you know, stern towards the enemy is usually the best way to set yourself up. But the Kremlin dying early gives you that flexibility to start moving around. Keep your comment to yourself, stat. Uh-oh. Why is that? So you could choose to use hydroacoustic search. Instead, you are running defensive fire, and you know that can work. No, no one's perfect. I do like that you're, you know, looking around in between salvos. Keep in mind that you can also teach yourself to hold down the right mouse button and do that with the right mouse button. .5 looks like it's pretty long range. It's a newer ship for me too, so I don't quite know everything about it. It is range mod, okay. So maybe that's what you were getting at earlier, SAT, is he's with the range mod, obviously you lose reload, right? You lose DPM. You can go to reload, and then if you've got the ability to slot in Iowa disconnected, I guess, then you could definitely use the plane to increase your range. Absolutely, you're right. Gotcha, okay. Mr. Mayhem, thank you very much for the follow. Now, you're doing something else here. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to skip the music because this is kind of getting into my head. Okay. You're caught bow in and you're forced to reverse. So now you've got this Edgar that's just going to, you know, chomp away. As soon as I saw that it was a Benham over there on that flank, I probably, if you don't have Hydro, I would have probably turned the other direction. And I would have started going, like, working on the ships in the mid area, like over here. Get yourself in a position to farm that Vermont. Personally, with high rate of fire, ships go for reload speed. I feel like leaning into a ship's strong points rather than trying for more range, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Hindenburg's the exception of that because you can get the range to work, right? Because it is still a very fast reload.
Yep, Hindenburg is one that you can get away with both, and so, you know, if Gaelic is using range on the Hindenburg, he's probably just going to put range on the Clausewitz.
Don't you mean the NA server too, SAT? That's why I run 20-kilometer torps on a shimmy?
Yeah, both can work. Now, your division mate died to a torpedo as well. Possibly, I think it might have been the Benhams, but, you know, like I said, pushing into a couple destroyers, not ideal. Although he's, okay, he was in a small end, so he got radar, so he could do anti-destroyer work. Now, you are losing out on the ability to get a lot of DPM because you're just staying bow in. Now you're turning, there you go.
He needs to heal immediately.
Yes, and he should heal too. That's a good point. You're at max healability. So you're looking around at the battlefield a lot in between salvos, but you're not looking at your hit points, you're not looking at your consumables so much. Oh, there you go. Alright, so you saw it. Good. Now, I'm going to stop right here because you've got an opportunity and you're not taking it, I don't think. But I want to draw your attention to the mini-map. Look at the Vermont. Look at you. And draw a line to that Vermont. You notice how there's an island right there, right? So you can fire over that island for free and not be detected. So what I would actually have done right here is I would have slowed down and turned left, okay? And then start reversing so that I can keep my shells pointed at the Vermont. I can keep shooting over the island and hitting him for free without, exposing myself to counterfire. Right here, see? So now you just came off from the island. Fortunately for you, he's looking probably at the Burgon because Burgon is so close. So he's probably not going to do anything to you anyways. In co-op, Hindi is God with reload. Absolutely, yes, in co-op. And I am King of Queens. Thank you for the follow. Now, once again, you're staying bow in, and you're losing a lot of your gun's DPM. With the Clausewitz, you've got the ability to, turn if you notice that the enemy battleship is looking at you. So you're leaving some DPM on the table, which obviously translates to XP. Here we go. Des Moines. Looking at him, you're thinking he's broadside. Burgon thought so too. Aim a little bit lower, because he's heading towards you. Although now he's going to turn away. Hey, you got the kill. Okay, Steven. So that might mean that your issue is bigger than just you. And if that's the case, other people might have problems with redeeming codes too. So my recommendation is, come back and try it tomorrow or something, see if it works. Now, you are shooting the Condi who's sailing away from you. Okay. I would be very careful on the minimap. I'd be keeping an eye on that Pommern. Okay, there he is. Because he could have come around right in front of you. But now that I mention that, take a look. There's a Marceau there as well now. So here's another opportunity for you to start turning and, get your guns to bear. So right here. Now, I disagree with this turn. I would keep going the way you were going and shoot the Dalarna. Obviously, it's too late. He's behind the island. But doing this turn like this, look at your rear turrets. Your rear turrets have completely turned around now. Yeah, I agree. There's no point. I mean, it's the only thing he could shoot at. So, staying dark and reposition could work. At that point, this game is pretty much kind of decided. So, yeah, you might as well try to go for extra chip damage. I don't see that's an issue. But I don't know that I like. I mean, you lost a lot of damage possibility there on the Pommern, and then he just shot you. Took a decent hit from that. Once again, be thinking about the Pommern. Oh, when he shot the Condi before encountering... Yeah, that's what I was talking about, SAT. Like, he can get away... in my opinion, he could get away with doing that for a little bit because I don't think there was any other target for him to shoot. Either case, I was just going to mention, too, you could pop your plane And the plane might be able to spot the Pommern if he was going to come around the island quickly. Switch to HE, I think. And slow down. There's no need to keep moving forward here. Because when you do that, you lose the shot, right? Because the island gets in the way, right there. All those ricochets, they could be fires if you're shooting HE. And they could also be penetration damage with HE too, because you've got that 1/4 HE pen. Yeah, you're doing a lot of things to kind of negate your rear turrets, and that just, you know, that's not gonna help. Okay, good. You got the plane up so you could spot. That works. Fernandum Fernandez, thank you for the follow. Now this part here, you're slowing and turning in. I mean, you can do that. Aaron Pell, thank you for the follow. But I feel like, again, you're losing out on your guns. And now you're going to be the focus target. Blue Yens, okay, makes sense. I like that you're changing targets to the Conde, but when you stopped, I think that was actually a good opportunity to turn and curl behind the island. So you've got an escape route. Right now you don't. Your only escape is to back up and hope they can't, you know, hit you. Super ship without a gimmick. Shouldn't they have come out this way just as previous tech trees without gimmicks? Every ship you're brawling is using loot ends? Well, yeah, he's great everywhere. Well, Mr. Mayhem, if they didn't have gimmicks, people wouldn't play them, right? Alaska doesn't need to push forward. He's just going to get himself wrecked. Here's where you go south and turn your guns left. So you can cut off the Pommern here. I like the smoke effect on the island there. It looks nice. I know, Ralsanti, I know. It's a win either way, right? Now, don't worry about what your teammates are doing. Be concerned about yourself, your positioning. Pommern is detecting you on Hydro. As soon as that happens, I would duck in behind the island. Not what you're doing. Also, put a plane up so you can see the Pommern. You're going to come out right there. He's going to possibly pop out and nail you. Well, fortunately, time ended. Okay. Well, let's take a look at that game. I'm going to drop my camera for a sec. And let's see how this worked. Why Conde and Annapolis are way strong because they got the gimmick. Wargaming, someone realized it. Okay. Yeah, it's your first random with it, so you know you're learning, right? I think the big thing is, you know, you gotta be thinking about, you know, obviously not dying, which is your first and foremost thought. And then after that, it's how am I going to get the guns on? How am I going to get the damages? Are there any other questions at all I can help you with, Gaelic? You finished third place and you had 1700 base XP. I mean, it's not a bad game. We're just saying basically instead of stopping bow in and stuff, if you work to keep your guns on target more, especially your rear guns, I think you just have some more XP out of it. That's all. You do more damage. And we are listening to Destroy Everything. Okay. Hey, yeah, no problem, Gaelic. Thank you for subbing and being supportive and all that. I mean, this is one of those, I think this is a really good learning opportunity. And if you're not comfortable with a kiting away position, look out for those kinds of games, man, and send some more to me. I'd be happy to look at those too and give you feedbacks on them. Yeah, practice makes perfect. Actually, um, not to toot my own horn, Gaelic, but if you look at the very beginning, we're going offline soon, but if you look at the very beginning of my stream today, um, I actually did just that. I kited away in a Marblehead and used islands to my advantage and stuff like that. Um, so, if you're looking for a good example of that kind of playstyle, by all means, feel free to check that out. That could help. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back real quickly here, and I'm going to skip the song because I'm getting tired of it. Sorry, whoever requested that one. But now let's take a look. You start off mid. You don't want to stay mid. I don't blame you there one bit. Let's just focus on your positioning and think about opportunities. So right here, I paused it. Right here is actually a pretty strong kiting away position, and you can shoot anything right over here, and get away with it, right? Because if they focus you, you can just turn and hit W. So you could actually slow down and kind of wait and see if something shows up over here. You don't have to. Look, enemies showed up. Okay. Keep going. Kremlin shows up. Okay. All right. Now here, I'm pausing here for a second. Here's actually a really good opportunity. You probably can't see my mouse, but here's a good opportunity. If you actually turn north, hey Gary, Merry Christmas to you too. If you actually turn north and put your guns to the left, you can basically get in a position to turn and run away down the I line, towards I-5, I-6 or whatever, while you're shooting at the Kremlin over an island, meaning you can't be spotted and shot back. So that's kind of like a strong position if you know that Kremlin is going to be pushing like he is. Fortunately for you, though, he goes down pretty quick. So you end up not having to worry about him at all. So he goes out. Now you got a good chance to shoot at the Marceau. You do. There's torps that come in. You take one. And there's the Benham. Okay, Benham detected. Being shot at. Goes down. Good. Okay. So here's another spot. You stop and you go bow in, probably because you're worried about this Iowa here. But once he dies, you're debating whether to stay at B and support the Annapolis. Yeah, that one's a tough one because you could definitely do a kiting away kind of a thing there, like what the Palmer and Alaska are doing. Um, you could have definitely gone back that way, but it seemed like you had really committed to here. So again, here's where I would have stopped and shot with all your guns. If you're not detected, you don't care if you're, angling or not to a battleship because they can't see you, they can't shoot back, right? So that was a good place to slow down, stop, and take advantage of the terrain. Here's where you're shooting the Conde as you're getting into position. Whatever. I don't think you actually got any hits off him, but that doesn't matter. Okay, here's the Palmer. Here's, I think, the big thing. You had the opportunity. I'm going to pause it and return it, rewind it just a sec here. Oh, that rewinded a lot. Whatever. You have the ability, when you make that contact with the Palmer, instead of going into BCAP, I would have actually turned north. You could have went between the islands instead of going north. Yes, you could have. But I mean, the thing is with the range that you're at and stuff, you could definitely go north, and that's fine. I think going into the islands could be a problem depending on if that Vermont poked forward, and then if the Palmer came out too. Both of those guys could slap you, and it's really hard to angle to both of them. And then there's the Des Moines. So I think going north here is fine, but stopping there is important. And then I'm going to pause it when we see the Palmer, okay? Come on, Palmer. All right, Palmer is spotted. Marceau is spotted. Here, my instinct, turn north, turn left. Get your guns, all four of them, on the Palmer, and keep going north. Because as you keep going north, if you needed to, you could duck behind the island, at Delta 5, right? That big island. You could duck behind it and, take some time to heal up and that sort of thing. Instead, you turn bow into the Palmer, basically ensuring that he can have more shots on you. He takes one, does a pretty decent hit there, but he ducks behind the island, so now you don't have a shot on him, right? He comes back on. Here's another chance. You could have kept turning north, getting your guns on. Instead, you decide to turn in. And another situation where you can shoot this guy for free. You're not detected when you're shooting. Might as well get all your guns in there. And here again, you're detected, you're stopping, you're reversing, but you're giving these guys, shots on you that you don't want them to take, right? Because you're going to take more damage than you're going to dish out. And now here, pop your plane, see where this Palmer is. You turned out like this. If he came around, he could have smacked you right then and there and probably ended your ship's life. It would have extended the battle. You probably still would have won anyways. But yeah. So, I think over time you're going to get more familiar with the ship and become more comfortable with it. But, the kiting away cruiser playstyle is it's a challenge to learn. So